Hare
ॐ
Krishna.
अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतापतकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं स्वावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Ashwin, can you please unmute? Ashwin, can you unmute? Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for the wonderful Mangalacharan recital. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 6, and the text for today is 34. Text 34. Shashwin, are you able to read the text for us, starting with the first two shlokas? Narayana Namaskritya.
Mataji, which text is it?
34, text 34, 2.6.34.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नवराति मेघ्नामृतो पलाक्ष्यते न वै क्वचिन्मे मनस्सु मृषगति न मे हृष्टिकनिपतान्त्यम् असत्पाते यन्मे हृदौत्कण्ठ्यवतत्रितो हरि मम च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यन्तान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पतः.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Would anybody like to repeat the text? Indulekha Mataji, can you repeat the first line and when we can repeat after you? Is it possible for you to do that?
Sorry, Mataji. Sorry for today.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Shashwin, you read the first word and the first line and we can repeat after you. So even our Sanskrit is Nabharati.
नवराति मृषोपलक्ष्यते
न भारती मेघ्नमृषोपलाक्ष्यते
न वै क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषगति
गतिः
न
न
वै
वै
क्वचिन्मे
मनसो
मृषगति
मृषगतिः
न मे सिक्तानि पत्तान्त्य असत्पते
न मे ऋषकानि पताति अशत्पते
यन्मे हृदयोत्कण्ठ्यावतधृतो हरि
यन्मे हृदयोत्कण्ठवते धृतो हरि. Once more.
न भारती मे मृषोपलक्ष्यते
न भारती मेघ्नमृषोपलाक्ष्यते
न वै क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषगति
न वै क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषगति
न मे ऋषिकानि पत्तान्त्यसत्पते
न मे ऋषिकानि पत्यान्ति अशत्पते
यन्मे हृदयोत्कण्ठ्यवतधृतो हरि
यन्मे हृदयोत्कण्ठ्यावते धृतो हरि. Thank you very much, Shashwat. We can move on to the word to word. Prashanatha Prabhu, is it possible to read the word to word? Okay, I can read the word to word. Na, never. Bharati, statements. Me, mind. Anga, O Narada. Rasha, untruth. Upalakshyate, proved to be. Na, never. Vai, certainly. Kvachit, at any time. Me, mine. Manashaha, of the mind. Mrisha, untruth. Gati, progress. Na, more. Me, mine. Rishikani, senses. Patani, degrades. Asat pateha, intemporary matter. Yat, because. Me, mine. Hrida, heart. O Kanthavata, by great earnestness. Dhrita, caught hold of. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Any volunteers to read the translation and purport?
You can read the translation.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Translation. Oh Narada, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, with great zeal, whatever I say has never proven to be false, nor is the progress of my mind ever detached, nor are my senses ever degraded by temporary attachments to matter. Hari. Okay.
Hare Krishna. I can read the purport. Lord Brahma is the original speaker of the Vedic wisdom to Narada, and Narada is the distributor of the transcendental knowledge all over the world through his various disciples like Vyasadeva and others. The followers of Vedic wisdom accept the statement of Brahmaji as the gospel truth, and transcendental knowledge is thus being distributed all over the world by the process of disciplinic succession from time immemorial. Since the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma is the perfect liberated living being within the material world, and any sincere student of transcendental knowledge must accept the words and statements of Brahmaji as infallible. The Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down directly from the Supreme Lord onto the heart of Brahma. And since he is the most perfect living being, Brahmaji is always correct to the letter. And this is because Lord Brahma is a great devotee of the Lord who has earnestly accepted the lotus feet of the Lord as a supreme truth. In the Brahma Samhita, which is compiled by Brahmaji, he repeats the aphorism, Govidam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. I am the worshipper of the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, the primeval Lord. So whatever he says, whatever he thinks, and whatever he does normally in his mood are to be accepted as truth because of his direct and very intimate connection with Govinda, the primeval Lord. Sri Govinda, who pleasingly accepts the loving transcendental service of his devotees, give all protection to the words and action of his devotees. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita, Konteya Praja Nihi, O son of Kenti, please declare it. The Lord asks to declare. And why? Because sometimes the declaration of Govinda himself may seem contradictory to the mundane creatures, but the mundaner will never find any contradiction in the word of Lord's devotees. The devotees are especially protected by the Lord, so they may remain infallible. Therefore, the process of devotional service always begins in the service of the devotee who appears in the disciplinic succession. The devotees are always liberated, but that does not mean that they are impersonal. The Lord is personal eternally, and the devotee of the Lord is also a person internally. Because the devotee has his sense organs, even at the liberated stage, he is therefore a person always. And because the devotee's service is accepted by the Lord in full reciprocation, the Lord is also a person in his complete spiritual embodiment. The devotee's senses, being engaged in the service of the Lord, never go astray under the attraction of false material enjoyment. The plans of the devotee never go in vain, and all this is due to the faithful attachment of the devotee for the service of the Lord. This is standard of perfection and liberation. Anyone beginning from Brahmaji down to the human being is at once put on the path of liberation simply by his attachment in great earnestness for the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord. The Lord affirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Mam chayo vyas vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatiyatan brahma bhuyahe kalpate. Anyone, therefore, who is earnestly serious in the heart and soul about being in intimate touch with the personality of Godhead, in the relationship of transcendental loving service, will always be infallible in words and action. The reason is that Supreme Lord is absolute truth, and anything earnestly dovetailed with the absolute truth attains the same transcendental quality. On the other hand, any amount of mental speculation on the strength of the material science and knowledge without any bona fide touch with absolute truth is sure to be mundane, untruth, and failure, simply due to not being in touch with the absolute truth. Such godless, unfaithful words and actions, however materially enriched, are never to be trusted. That is the purport of this important verse. A grain of devotion is more valuable than a ton of faithfulness. Hare Krishna. We don't have a mentor today, so we can discuss things among ourselves. So, anything that is striking to anybody in this group? I think what this verse is talking about is the importance of a devotee as well. And a devotee like Brahma, which is mentioned here, whatever he speaks is perfect because it is the Lord speaking through him. So while I was reading that, I even realized that when we offer bhoga to the Lord, we first invoke the Srila Prabhupada and we speak the Prabhupada mantra. So we are invoking him to take the bhoga to the Lord. So we cannot go to the Lord himself. We have to go through a pure devotee. So who will take us? And this pure devotee under his shelter, because he's been inspired by the Lord, he will be inspirational to us because he cannot speak anything false. However, if we just do mental speculation and put science and knowledge without any bona fide lineage, then the truth might not come out and we might be misguided. So this is just my reflection, what I read so far, but feel free to add anything. I know today is a small group. I've just found out that in Eldoret we have Umapati Prabhu who has come and there's a house program. So I think everybody's gone for that house program. Any other reflections coming out? Prashanatma Das Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Then but pronounce, please accept my humble obeisances, also all the devotees they call today. Of course, I'm not qualified to speak anything, but I just noticed in the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada says that a grain of devotion is more valuable than tons of faithlessness. Just brings me back to I don't know if it was a lecture I was hearing. It was describing where is it a quote? It's describing how much devotional service is valuable in rather in our situation, for our situation, in the conditioned situation. First of all, we need devotional to understand the best way to understand God is through devotional service, and at the same time still the best way to reach God. So it's like a two-way process. We're getting knowledge about God, and we are still getting an example of rather a way, a path to get closer to God. So it's a two-way street, and it's such a simple and easy method, and it doesn't depend on anything. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube video I was watching of Srila Prabhupada. Says devotional service does not depend on anything. It doesn't warrant anything. You do not need to be a very learned person, yeah, to execute devotional service or to reach the Lord, because ultimately it's just about the mercifulness of the Lord. And yeah, you do not need to be learned or rich or poor or illiterate or whatever position. Does not depend on anything material to do devotional service. So I guess this point is really coming across to me. Also because we can see that Lord Brahma doesn't say that it is because of him or he he has done so much penance and austerity, so he has discovered the truth, or he doesn't attribute anything to himself. Rather, he says that simply because he has got hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So simply because he has so much faith, and he's resolute, he's determined, he's not shaken, his mind is not shaken. So simply for that reason, it even enhances his belief in his own statements, simply because of the mercy of the Lord and of the assurance and presence of the Lord in his life and in his devotional service. So yes, I think that's what I really notice about this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for that contribution. Yes, I think a lot of it reflects on the surrender part. If you hold on to Lord's feet and surrender onto Him, then He will guide you. It sounds very abstract to us people from this material world, that how can that happen? But if we go through the process, I'm sure we will experience it. But the thing is that we are scared of surrendering, or we don't know how to surrender, and that's where the problem is. So
Hare Krishna, I would like to share something. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Again, we see the hidden gem coming out now, slowly. Yes. So we see in chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Shipram bhavati dharmatma sasvak chanti nigachati konteya prati janihi name bhaktya pranashyati. What he's saying? He says, he quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So why did Krishna tell that? He could have said that himself to his devotees. Why did he ask Arjuna to say that? Anyone? Any answer?
Yes.
So-
It says, oh, sorry. Go on.
continue, Prasanatma Prabhu.
Okay. Because it says here in the purport that the declaration of Govinda himself may seem contradictory. Rather, but the mundane will never find any contradiction in the words of the Lord's devotees. Rather, the word of the Lord's devotee is more concrete. You see, even Govinda broke his promise in the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Yes, very good. Yes. Yes.
Bhishma Dev, yes. So yes,
Yes.
but when his devotee promises something, it's a sure bet. He doesn't fail on that for sure.
Very good, Prabhuji. Also, Krishna, go ahead, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's only that matter. Thank you. Very good.
Okay. So also, Krishna wants to give credit to his devotee. He wanted to give credit to Arjuna. If Arjuna said, because these Pandavas, they were the most righteous person who existed, right? Yesterday in a class, I had a discussion with one Prabhuji. He was telling that why did the 5 Pandavas didn't save Draupadi while she was being disrobed? Five very prominent husbands she had. So what happened is, and I tried to explain, you know why? Because these 5 Pandavas, they lost in the game, and then it was a slave of Duryodhana. They respected that rule. That's why Draupadi also became the servant, so they could do whatever they want with the servant, which is actually it still happens in some part of the world. Because you are my servant, I can use you, I can abuse you, I can do anything. So they did not have the right to go against that rule, because it was so righteous, accepted. But this Prabhuji in his mind is, no, 5 husbands couldn't save that poor wife, and then still the wife was living with them. So I think he was not mature enough in his head to understand this bit that I was trying to explain, that yes, because they abide to the rules. They did not break the rule because they knew they are very righteous and they abide to it always. Like Yudhishthira was the son of Dharma. So he was even Dharmatma himself. So here we see that Krishna is telling if Arjuna says something, people will understand and they will listen. Krishna may say something, and then as Prabhuji said, he changed his mind in the Battle of Kurukshetra. He said, I'm not going to lift the weapon. But then what happened? Bhishma made him lift the weapon because he wanted to. Bhishma had taken a vow also. Today, Krishna, I'm going to make you lift the weapon. So to keep the word of his devotee, because Bhishma also was a very great devotee of Krishna. So he makes that promise. Then Krishna had to keep that promise. That's why he broke his own promise. He does that often. Just to keep his promise, he keep his devotee's promise, he breaks his own promises. So this is a point that I just want to talk about. There are a lot to say, but Mataji, as I told you, I'm busy. As soon as I finish with the course, I jump into another one. So please forgive me for today. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, not a problem at all. Mataji, thank you for that contribution. And it is to, Krishna does this to glorify his devotees. He's so merciful, so merciful that he wants his devotees to be decorated. He doesn't take glories onto himself. Okay, any other contribution? Any other thoughts from the group?
So even we know when Arjuna didn't want to fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he told Arjuna, you see, I have already sucked their life out. You just have to shoot the arrow and take the credit. That's all. He wanted to give credit. That's what he does.
That's correct. That's correct, Mataji. And that is only because Arjuna had surrendered to Krishna. He was always at his lotus feet. I know one of our mentors, I don't remember exactly who, but he had said that Arjuna, even while he was sleeping, every breath he was chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So that is why Krishna had a special affinity, or he had Arjuna in his best interest in his mind. So if you don't forget the Lord, never forget Krishna, always remember him, which is our motto. Krishna will also perform, and he will inspire us to say, and we will not have say anything wrong. But definitely we cannot ramble along whatever we feel in our head and say that, oh, it's inspired by Krishna. I think we need to have Shastras or the scriptures. We need to have the evidence of the scriptures, and we need to read the scriptures. Any other contribution? So I was listening to yes, Prashanatma Prabhu, carry on.
Maybe okay. I just wanted to mention. I think I don't know if it was in this class you are reading with Rukma Prabhu about. I can't even remember the terminologies. I was just looking for them in my notebook. I don't know if it's the word prophylactic or something about the Lord. That fact about the Lord that any thing he comes into touch with, or any person, or any whatever he comes into touch with, ultimately gains. He changes it. Okay, it gains his qualities. So just about the last paragraph where we see anyone therefore who is earnestly serious in his heart and soul about being in intimate touch with the personality of Godhead in the relationship of transcendental loving service will always be infallible in words and action. So maybe it's because ultimately and gradually the Lord helps us from within the heart in many ways, also through saints and the spiritual master and the great sages. He helps us to gradually make our life better and our spiritual life better. Haribo.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that contribution. I think there is one gem. I'm forgetting that name of the gem. If it touches anything, that thing or person gets that quality. So Krishna is sometimes referred to that as well. So anything of Krishna touching anybody else, they will imbibe the qualities of Krishna.
Chintamani or something like
Yeah,
that.
Chintamani. Yeah. You are right. You are right. Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. Any other contribution or comments or any questions that you have not understood so far? I was just listening to a lecture by Braj Bihari Prabhuji today, and I found it very interesting, and I think I should share among this group. So he was telling us about the three features, the Brahman, Paramatma, and the Ishvara feature, and I'm sure the group knows about it, that the Brahman feature is like the sun rays pervading everywhere, and that is what the Mayavadis think the Lord is. And then Paramatma is what the yogis meditate on, and they, for example, if you took a telescope and saw the sun, then you would see the rings and the various features, and that is what the yogis meditate on and realize the Paramatma feature in our hearts. And the Bhagwan is the person himself. So if you went to the sun god and met Mr. Vivashwan himself, that is the Bhagwan feature. So, it really sunk in. And then he gave a very nice example of a gulab jamun. And he said, okay, so you are invited to your friend and said, come today, come to my house and I will give you gulab jamuns. And you have never seen a gulab jamun in your life probably. So as soon as the friend goes in the house, when the friend opens the door, this friend who has come to have gulab jamun smells the aroma. So this is like the Brahman feature. So he hasn't seen the gulab jamun, he hasn't eaten the gulab jamun, but he has just smelled and smelt it. Then the friend takes him to the kitchen and say, come, I'll show you what a gulab jamun looks like. So he goes in the kitchen and says, oh, it is round in shape, it is brown in color, and it's so warm and soft because the mother was just making at that time. So this is like the Paramatma feature. The yogis meditate on the Paramatma in our heart, that they are this size and they are 4 hands. And so this is the Paramatma feature. So this is what we are doing. We have just understood probably the Lord in the Brahman and the Paramatma feature, but we haven't really met Krishna. So that we'll get when the friend, if the friend says, okay, now I've seen the gulab jamun, I have smelled the gulab jamun, okay, I'm going home. Then he will never realize what a gulab jamun tastes like or what the gulab jamun is really. So then once the friend gives him the gulab jamun, he puts it in his mouth and he says, oh, wow, it's so succulent and it tastes, he gets the taste of the sugar syrup and the lychee and all the spices that were put in the gulab jamun. And this is the experience of the Lord himself. So this is called feature. So you can say that gulab jamun is good only by eating. But you know, we devotees understand the Lord with all the 3 features of him, the Brahman and the Paramatma and the Bhagwan. We shouldn't be saying that, oh, Mayavadis, we don't believe in Mayavadi philosophy, because that would mean that you're closing your nose and you're closing your eyes, you're not seeing the gulab jamun. You will not get the real feeling of a gulab jamun if you just eat it. You have to smell it, you have to see it, and then you will experience the whole gulab jamun. So if you need to experience Krishna, you have to see this his Brahman features and experience his abilities in everything that we are looking around. We see a lot of his energies into in nature and say, oh, this is Krishna's doing. How beautiful, how wonderful. This flower is so beautiful. The aroma is so nice. The fragrance is so nice. The flower is so nice. How fragrant would Krishna be? So we have to take all the three features to understand Krishna or to realize Krishna. So I learned that today, and I thought that it was very enlightening for me. And especially when he gives examples like this, it sticks in our head. Srila Prabhupada has given us the example of the sun rays and the sun, and then actually meeting, going and seeing the sun. And this Gulab Jamun example has also been given by Srila Prabhupada. So, any questions
Hare
or
Krishna.
comments? Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, nice analogy he gave about the Gulab Jamun. But there is another thing I would like to share here, is that, as he said, we should not close the door to the impersonalities. They are the Mayavadis. They are great personalities. They are the yogis who want to experience life in the outer spaces. That's why we have to come to do the yoga system. How they can sit. It's difficult, to kind of to control the senses, to sit in a certain position, to do the yoga process itself. It's very, very difficult. Now they have to realize God before doing that. On whom are they going to think about it and do this process? But they are like those people who go to a kingdom, right? They go to a country, suppose. That is like to the abode of the Lord. So they are outside of the palace. So you go to that planetary system, say Golok Vrindavan, but you are outside of the palace. But they want to experience life there. So they go around. They don't go into the palace. Now, in that place, they just want to go around. Some of us, like devotees who are neophyte, we may get into the palace, right? That's just fine. But the pure devotees, they will go with Krishna in his room and have his association. This is the three features. Is Brahman. Brahman is not Brahman, like people say Brahman. And Paramatma, and then Bhagavan. So we are aiming at Bhagavan. So we have to go through Brahman, Paramatma, and then we can attain the Bhagavan. First, we get into that kingdom, then into the palace, then into the room of the Lord. That is another thing that we should aim at. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for that we need to go through all the various stages and not stop. As Mayavadis, they stop at just the Brahman feature. We need to get inside with the Lord. So thank you for that example as well. Any other additions, questions, comments?
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Mataji,
yes.
maybe I can just read about something small about. Thank you for the realizations about the three features of the Lord and their importance. I just wanted to. There's something earlier I had mentioned. I read in the Ishopanishad about the prophylactic nature of the Lord and the antiseptic nature. Rather, one of his qualities is antiseptic, prophylactic, and there's another which is referred to as apapa vidam. I'll just read really quickly. To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated. Sri Ishopanishad describes him. This is mantra 8, Sri Ishopanishad. Sorry, can I mention the last paragraph. To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated, Sri Ishopanishad describes him as Sudam, antiseptic, and Apapavidam, prophylactic. He is antiseptic in the sense that even an impure thing can become purified just by touching him. The word prophylactic refers to the power of his association. As mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 9:30 to 31, a devotee may appear to be Sudurachara, not well behaved in the beginning, but he should be accepted as pure because he is on the right path. This is due to the prophylactic nature of the Lord's association. The Lord is also a Apapavidam because sin cannot touch him, even if he acts in such a way that appears to be sinful. Such actions are all good, but there is no question of his being affected by sin. Yeah, I'll just switch there. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I think also now we are really hungry today after this class, after hearing about the gulab jam. So if we direct that hunger in we relate it to the hunger for Krishna, we can be very elevated and very very ahead in our devotion. Thank you for the realization. Very good.
Thank you very much, Roji, for those kind words and that explanation of antiseptic and prophylactic. So that's a very good example, and I can relate to that. So whenever I'm now wiping my hands with antiseptic lotion or wiping on my surface with it, I will remember Krishna. So thank you very much for giving me another example. And whenever I'm teaching about vaccines, I will remember Krishna, because prophylaxis, you give vaccines to people as prophylaxis so that they don't get the diseases. So thank you so much. It will really help me.
Very good.
Krishna, any other questions, comments, realizations? There are no more questions, comments, and realizations. I can share quickly. Yes. Sandhya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kritika Mataji and all devotees. Mataji, I just want to know what is the meaning of Chaitanya?
Indulekha Mataji, any Chaitanya means life. Chaitan means life, probably.
Yes, living force. Okay. Means the living force, the living force of everything, maybe.
Hare Krishna. And Krishna Sandhya Mataji, do you want to know the meaning of Chaitanya or who is Chaitanya?
Mataji, I want to know the meaning of Chaitanya.
Okay. He has another name which is Vishwambhara. Before he took sannyas, his name was Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara meaning that someone who is feeding the whole universe, who's taking care of the whole universe. And the Chaitanya is, as Prabhuji said, the light.
Life.
Light and life also.
Oh, light. Okay. Okay.
Living force. Sorry, Mataji. Living force.
Living force. Right.
Living
Yeah, it's the energy of everybody.
Okay. All right.
So,
thank you, Mataji.
So Chaitanya also means awareness, consciousness, conscious self, intelligence, pure consciousness. It also means energy or enthusiasm. So it is a state of conscious energy.
Mataji also just want to know, was this the name given to him by his mom, or is this a kind of initiated name or something?
No, he was born, his name was Vishwambhara, that his grandfather gave him that name. And his another name was Nimai, because he was born under its neem tree.
Yeah.
That was Nimai. And then he had other names also, which I forgot completely right now. But
Okay,
Nimai is because he was born under a neem tree. Yes.
Nimai.
Now you may ask the question, why was he born under a neem tree? Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I try?
So
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Maybe because the neem tree has very special medicinal qualities. So
Hmm.
similarly, Mahaprabhu came to treat all our very diseased material conditions of life. It was just a trial.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. But what happened is Sachi Devi, the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she had
Yeah.
8 daughters. She had 8 daughters. All of them passed away. One after the other, all of them passed away. So then they decided that the neem tree, he has that medicinal properties, as Prabhuji said, and neem tree is so bitter, you know, ghosts and spirits don't go there. So they saw that in the house there must be some spirit who was just taking all the children away. So they asked Mother Sachi to keep us under the neem tree, so then she protected her in this way. That's why he was born under neem tree. Very beautiful deity out there. We went last year with Kritika Mataji and myself, Mother Sachi, and but you know the place has changed completely. First time when I went, it was like nowadays you're building everywhere. It's not bad, but the original original place is not there. I like the place where it was like it was before. Now, yes, they have built a small temple, Mother Sachi, and what is the father's name now? Both of mother and father, they took Nimai in their lap. They are sitting. And similarly, when we went to Tirkadamba, we went late there this time, and it was everywhere, like the big building and gates. And the first time I went there, I was amazed. It was 2 lakes. The place was open. You could walk around. You could go in the actual neem trees and the old trees, thousands of years old trees. They were so old. They were dark, and the branches were just on the floor, like on the ground. So all these places are being just putting concrete and building and all. And what is happening that Mother Earth is being like smothered, you know, they cannot breathe because so much roads are being built and the buildings are there, people are digging. And that's why you see nowadays, whatever we are eating hasn't got any like value, because whatever we are eating, we're just eating like chemicals, fertilizers, chemicals. Nothing is produced like maybe in Africa, in some parts, it's not like that, but in other parts of like European countries, even India, everywhere is being covered. The Mother Earth is being covered. That's why sometimes you get so angry and there are all kind of calamities coming. You cannot bear it. It's too much. But if we start thinking that, yes, before people could walk barefoot everywhere, and which I love to do, but there's no place to walk. There's either you will get the grass, or you will get the pavements or the asphalt or something like that. And everywhere is like that, everywhere. So yeah, Hare Krishna. I just wanted to share a little bit more. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for that contribution in the Lekha Mataji. Any other questions or comments? I think we are almost 5 minutes away from the end of this session. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if there are no questions or comments, we can close for today and meet again tomorrow at the same time, same place. And let us all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify all of us, all the devotees that are present. Thank you very much for being there all the time and supporting this group. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakarutasya kripa sindhubhaiva patitana pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo
Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, एल्डोरेट यात्रा की जय. हरे कृष्ण. थैंक यू.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.